My goal is to develop a successful business. Is that a good business goal? Hi everyone, welcome back to the fourth episode of Business Strategy. In previous episodes, we covered the why and the how of business strategy. We also worked on developing our 2022 business strategy plan for small business. In today's episode, I want to dive in long-term business goals and short-term business goals and how to develop them for small business. I want to start off by clarifying the difference between vision and goals. Vision is a picture of the business future. It's inspirational. Goals are what the business aims to achieve at a future time. The biggest difference between them is that goals are measurable. You can put metrics to it, but vision is not. When it comes to long-term business goals, it's all about the future. It describes the direction the business is going in the future and where you see the business at in the future. Long-term goals offer a strategic view and also ensuring the path the company is following in order to achieve its long-term ambition. In business strategy planning, large established organizations who's been around for decades, they have established market position. They generally predict 10-year-long business growth. They have sufficient understanding of their product service and the marketplace to predict that far away. In this case, for small business, you do not have established market position and the market challenges are quite dynamic. I would suggest you to focus on the 5 years business goals. Compared to long-term business goals, short-term business goals are much more about here and now. Short-term business goals allow you to break the long-term business goals down into initiatives and objectives that you need to achieve within a much shorter period of time. Those short-term business objectives are to support the business in order to achieve the long-term business goals. Think of it this way. Long-term business goals are the destination, and short-term business goals are those milestones along the way that you need to meet in order to arrive at the destination. In business strategy planning, short-term business goals are those one-year business goals that we define every year during the business planning process. The short-term business goals is to specifically define where the business aims to achieve by the end of the year regarding its key performance indicators, such as its revenue, the size, and resources. Short-term business goals needs to be specific. This is what we call SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. It precisely defines the finish line for a business by the year end. So what are the differences between long-term business goals and short-term business goals? The first one is impact. Long-term business goals represents the business future. They impact the entire business. Versus short-term business goals represent a specific initiative or objective you need to achieve in a short amount of time. It impacts either one functional area of the business or a specific team of a business. Secondly, time frame. Long-term business goals is looking at taking those big steps forward in order to realize the business vision. It's looking at 5 to 10 year time frame. Versus short-term business goals are looking at those steps you need to take today or tomorrow and address what needs to be done in the near term, and generally that's under 1 year. Number 3, long-term business goals can be stretch goals, versus short-term business goals need to be SMART goals. So, how do we set long-term business goals and short-term business goals for small business? Let's start with the 5-year business goals. Define what the business performance look like 5 years from now. Focus on the financial and size performance for the business. Once you define those, then we start to walk backwards and work on our 1-year business goals. And those are your short-term goals. Define what you need to accomplish 1 year from now to enable you to meet those 5-year business goals. And define those 1-year business goals as specific as you can. Be realistic, but not too conservative. And here's a formula I follow. Start with a verb, define what to accomplish by when. So give that a try and develop your long-term and short-term business goals. Here are some rules to follow when it comes to develop those goals. First one, not too vague. Phrases like successful business is very vague because you cannot put metrics to it. You're not able to measure it. Secondly, not unrealistic. The ultimate goal we have is to achieve those business goals. So focus on being realistic even when you're defining those stretch goals. The third one is not conflicting. Sometimes we have multiple business goals at the same time, especially when we break it down by the functional areas of the business. We need to make sure it's not conflicting with each other and all those different goals align with the vision of the business and the direction of the strategy. Once you developed your long-term and short-term business goals, you can go back to the last episode and follow the steps and walk through and develop the rest of your business strategy. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please leave me a comment below and share with me which tip you find most helpful for your goal setting. If you liked today's episode, be sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe below so more people can see it. Thank you for spending time with me today. I'll see you in the next one.